Hello, everybody. Welcome to this Gastein session. So this session today is sponsored by Roche. Thank you so much. And it's about a topic which is very close to my heart, which is about the use of health data for various purposes. So Porek from Roche, why is it that pharma is so interested in data?
I think it depends on which perspective you take at any given point in time. And as a European Union citizen and an occasional patient, the things that are important for me are about data portability, not only between countries, but even between healthcare providers in the same country, because that's going to make a better difference to my own health and to all of our health, enabling physicians to sift through the very complex science and therefore make better decisions. As a patient, that's really important for me. I would guess from a healthcare administrator point of view, those things would be pretty important as well, because that's the way you would make your healthcare systems, our healthcare systems, more sustainable. And then from the point of view of being a healthcare industry executive, enabling R&D the way I described, faster, quicker, more precise. Those are the kinds of things that pooling data together at scale could enable.
You're a data company, aren't you?
Absolutely. I mean, the vial that you see or the medicine that you take, it's the physical representation of the analysis of data. Yeah, right. That's what it is. It's the data that underpins all of that. And of course, there's a huge amount of work then that goes around into transforming that data into something that is usable, administrable. But yes, underneath it all it's data. Coming from a company like we were saying before, which is based on data, then sort of my and our natural bias is that it's always better to have data than not have data. And I think this report contributes to that. It adds to a base of things that have been done before, and I think it builds on it in a really nice way. What I hope happens to it, what I hope doesn't happen to it, is that it becomes a basis for rivalry of policymakers or others in countries looking at each other and wanting to compete. I think, as Millie said a minute ago, there's a great opportunity here to have a conversation, to start a conversation about what are the things that are going well in some places, what are the things that are going less well in others, and then try and figure out how together, as a group of countries in Europe, we can bring ourselves all up to the same level on all of the things. That might be some kind of utopia, I don't know, but I do think it's worthwhile pursuing. And again, I really do hope that this piece of work contributes to that discussion and allows us to move forward together. As I said before, I think it's important today, for the organization of healthcare systems today, for the organization of patient care today, and it's really important for tomorrow. Because the more sophisticated our understanding becomes of disease, the more we can do to keep people healthy, and the better we can do in keeping people alive and well for longer when they become ill. But in order to do it, we're going to need a vast amount of data, all very well curated, interoperable, easy to use, and then of course treated with the kind of treated as sensitive as it is and used appropriately. I'm not a tech expert. I would guess there may be some ways of doing what you just described. In the end, this is always going to come back to what we were talking about before, which is a question of trust. But I do think the fundamental question is this: who is it being provided to? What are they going to use it for? And then over time, can we be assured that whoever's using it is only using it for the purpose for which it was designed? I think then, there's many things that the healthcare industry and the pharmaceutical industry can be justly criticized for, but I do think that as an industry, not just as Roche, we have been good at that over the years. In Europe, we're not in the lead in this. And yet, somehow or other, I must admit, I feel really optimistic about what the future of healthcare could look like in Europe, because we now have a political and policy momentum towards creating something that doesn't exist anywhere else and probably couldn't exist anywhere else. however imperfect they may be, there are more similarities, I think, in the healthcare systems across Europe than there are differences. And in general, they are really high quality systems. We have fantastic life science universities in Europe. And we have lots of people, lots of bright people who have energy and appetite for making a big difference to them. And I think if we are able to continue this momentum, if we're able to get over the fears and the worries about sharing of data, by acknowledging the sensitivity of healthcare data, acknowledging that there are some risks in it, but also speaking positively about the differences that we could make if we all work together, differences to healthcare system sustainability, differences, yes, to the strengthening the industrial base in healthcare in Europe, and also for making, most importantly, big differences in the health and the outcomes for the citizens and the patients of the European Union. I think over the next 5 to 10 years, we could make an enormous leap forward. So I actually feel really optimistic, and I hope we can all work together to make it happen.